As an 8th grader at my old school, I was one of 2 members on the FTC, or First Tech Challenge robotics team. We were dropped headfirst into this intimidating activity, and with our first competition in 4 months, we had very little time to catch our bearings. Our inventory consisted of the standardized robot kit with some wrenches. There was no power drill, no laser cutter, and no 3D printer, just me, my friend, and our teacher. There was no time to talk about what idea was best. We built the first thing we could think of and went with it. We made our way to the state level, winning an award for the innovative use of a butter Tupperware container. It was there I met Dr. Waddington, Chad Harthan, and the Castillo brothers. They were welcoming and invited me to tour the school. I fell in love with the robotics program, and I've spent the last 3 years dedicating hours after school to the team. As a freshman, I was lucky enough to have more resources for a robot, a 3D printer, a drill press, a bandsaw. I was so excited. The other freshmen and I were paired with the seniors to make one team, the sophomores and juniors making another team. Our seniors were almost always understandably absent, busy interviewing and applying for colleges. We taught ourselves how to work the power tools, managing to keep all our fingers in the process. Long story short, we didn't even get out of regionals that year. Without the time to work like I did the year before, and not understanding how to properly manage our time, we did poorly. The next year as a sophomore, my grade was paired with the rising freshman. We had a decent bit of experience, but now we had to communicate the knowledge we had inherited. Making it to every meeting early, I always had both hands on the robot. This was my first experience with real leadership, and I didn't see the point in teaching somebody else if they were going to be slower and less precise. It was because of this short-sightedness, that we didn't get past regionals again. I learned the hard way that year that I couldn't build an entire robot myself, and I would need to delegate responsibilities such as programming, organizing, and representing the team at competitions. Junior year, I was with the same group, but we were veterans this time, with rival teams and competitors we now knew personally. I tried my best to come into direct contact with the construction process as little as possible. My team was large, with lots of motivated members wanting and needing hands-on experience. I would try to make the executive decisions, like whenever people had a dispute on which idea to use or how to do it, I'd point out the pros and cons of each one and usually just end up saying, test both. The year was relatively successful, reaching all the way to the state level again, competing alongside much larger teams sponsored by Dell and NASA and Toyota, a fact I'm especially proud of. This year, so far, things have gone relatively well. I wanted to have the freshmen on my team to allow the juniors a year of leadership before they become seniors. I tried to tell them that whoever shows up most often and stays the latest becomes the leader through the sheer contribution. The people who don't put in the effort don't know what's going on, and that's their consequence, and easily enough, that's not anything that has to be enforced. There's no democratic process or coup, just pure engineering. Being part of a team is challenging. I've had arguments and fights with my teammates that have lasted weeks over just small things. One time, we had an argument over a linear slide system and how to make it go faster that spanned multiple weeks and split the team into factions over something simple in hindsight. Eventually, we built and tested each idea, putting them on the robot and trying for the fastest scoring cycles, but only after wasting lots of time not building and not testing. I know how to take apart a robot blindfolded with one hand and put it back together, but working as an efficient team will always be challenging. I've gone from not having a team to not knowing how to lead one to leading one wrong, and I still have a lot to learn. But my best words of advice for anybody struggling to make their team work are patience and remembering you need your team and your team needs you. Thank you.